Hello my friends, welcome back. I am so happy to see you. I'm filming this and at this point I haven't posted anything in like a month. It's currently the end of final season and I asked you guys to send me questions on Instagram and YouTube and you guys did just that. There were a lot of questions, so thank you guys so much. And I'm about to leave to go to California in 3 hours, but I figured this is the perfect time to answer those questions. So let's get to it. So the first set of questions were about final season and just how I'm feeling this final season, and I totally get it. I got a lot of messages on Instagram as finals week wore on, people just kind of genuinely worried about me because I wasn't, posting. After last season, I understand, or last final season, I understand why you guys would want to check on me. But as you will see in the vlog, and as I'm going to say right now, I'm having such like a better time with finals, and I think it has to do with two things. One, I have a better understanding of what's coming, or I had a better understanding of what was going to be happening to me. The second thing that I think really helped is the fact that I'm not in a toxic relationship anymore. I got out of that before the semester began, and that really helped in freeing my mind, really. And when I had to like relax, I could actually relax instead of partaking in like toxic conversation or raising grown men, which is something that we do not do on this channel anymore. But it really helped to just be kind of like by myself without someone kind of sucking out my energy when I had things that were already taking a lot of my energy. So I'm having a much better time, but thank you so much for checking up on me. The second set of questions were about law school, of course, and especially what can someone who's a pre-law or interested in law school do to prepare for this journey. I talked about this a lot in my last Q&A, and everything I said there still very much stands today. There's not a lot that you can do to prepare for this. I'm so sorry to have to tell you this. This is like a little hazing ritual. There's no preparing for this. I can tell you to like read cases, but that's not like, you won't know what to look for until you get here, and it's very much dependent on your professors. And I would hate to have to tell you that and then you go and try and figure out how to read a case before you come to law school. If you're interested, you can definitely do that, but that's not something that you have to do, and I don't know if it's necessarily going to prepare you. The book 1L of a Ride is highly recommended, and I've never personally read it, but I know people who have, and it gives you a good understanding of kind of like what law school is and what you're going to be dealing with when you get here. But other than that, I'm so sorry. There's not really a lot that you can do to prepare for this journey. It's just, you just gotta come here. You just gotta come. My main tip for anyone who's interested in law school, live your life, have fun before you get here, because when you do, it gets very difficult to find time for yourself, as you can see from like my vlogs if you watch those. So live your life, have fun. You don't have to do legal things. You're not confined by that when you are a pre-law or just like interested in law school. Just enjoy life. I got a lot of questions regarding like tips for Duke, how to get into Duke, and listen, I can make a video taking you guys through my entire like process, my application, from my personal statement to my letter of continued interest, and it would probably get a lot of views. I've seen videos like that where people are like, the personal statement that got me into insert, high-ranking school here. But the truth is, I have no clue. Outside of like the two main like core qualifiers, which is your GPA and your LSAT, everything else is very much up in the air, unless I am in direct contact with the admissions office and they told me like, it's your personal statement, or it's your internship that you did, or it's this that made us take you and not that other person. I have absolutely no clue what really like made them pick me and made me part of this class. And even with like knowing people's stats, I never like understood why that was so important. Like you can definitely like just look on the law school website and see what the median is, or I think there is like lawschoolnumbers.com where you can kind of see people's stats and see who got in. I feel like I could give someone my application, every single thing that's on it, they apply with the exact same thing, and there's a chance that they wouldn't get in because it's just very like different, like application cycles vary. And there's a thing happening, or did happen, with the UC schools where a lot of like high schoolers applied to college, and they had, you know, the 4.0s, they were president of such and such club, and they thought that they were shoo-ins, or, you know, UCLA, every other school, and they did not get in. And I think that's a really great example of how the application cycle is, and just like how different and just kind of out of control, like out of your hands it is. I was actually just thinking about this like the other day, about whether if I applied like this cycle that just passed to Duke, if I would have gotten in, and I'm not necessarily too sure. Like I hope I would, but just the application process is just incredibly different every single time. It all depends, but you don't control that. What you do control is your LSAT and your GPA. For my LSAT, I did 7 stage. I actually wish I had done something that was actually like in-person in classes, but I couldn't afford that because they're very expensive. But that's just the way that I like to learn more, and I feel like I probably would have gotten a higher score my first time if I had taken like an in-class like lesson, just for the accountability, because that's just like the type of accountability that I need. So just be aware of how you like to learn. I had a question regarding whether or not I wanted to always be at a T14, and when I was applying, I was not that was not the plan. Obviously I applied to some T14, so there was some hope there, but it was very, very small. So the fact that I am here though is something that I wouldn't change at all. I don't want to be one of those people that says that, you know, rank doesn't matter at all when I'm like at a higher ranking school, because that's not the truth. It does and doesn't matter to a certain degree, depending on what exactly you are interested in. Another benefit is just basically the ability to get a job once you graduate, especially if you're interested in big law, which is just working at, you know, the big law firms. The higher up rank you go, the more chances you are to be able to get a job, again, especially in big law. I know when I was looking, comparing schools between like Duke and another school I was interested in, they place their graduates, it's like 90-something% of their graduates get jobs right out, and they're making like, you know, 200K or something, and the other school was like 50, which is kind of like, especially if you're taking out loans, it's a little bit problematic. I got some questions regarding like why Duke, and before I got here, my reasons for kind of applying were just like the same for every other school, in terms of like they have great faculty. Obviously they have some of like the smartest people here who are teaching, and just like I broke into the T14s, holy shit, and oh my god, they're giving me a scholarship. That's, yeah, sure. But now that I am here, I can kind of reflect back on it, and I'm glad that I chose this school. Everything that I just said is amazing, but what I've really loved about Duke is the community. It is kind of small and there are not like sharp elbows. I feel like everyone, especially, or at least in my class, seems to just generally want to help each other get through this really tough period that we just had, starting law school during a pandemic, doing it online, not being able to see each other. Everyone has just been generally very, very helpful, and that's something that I didn't think about when I was applying to schools, about the atmosphere, the culture of the school, the culture of the students. But I'm glad that I was able to find that here, because it's very comforting. Now on to questions regarding like motivation. I got some questions like, how do you stay motivated? How do you get yourself out of bed on really tough days? Or do you ever get lazy? Yeah, yes, I do get lazy all of the time. And to be honest with you guys, I don't have like a set thing that gets me out of bed. Like I mentioned a while ago in one of my vlogs, I've been trying to function more on discipline and less on motivation, because it's fleeting. It comes and it comes on strong, but when it goes, it leaves you empty. So I think that discipline is a lot better than working off of motivation. I also like to think of my future self a lot, and trying to make her happy, trying to set her up for some success. The combination of discipline and thinking about like setting up my future self for success has what's been really helping me this final season, because I was like kind of waking up at like really early and, you know, taking a lot of tests. I mean, for con law, I was taking like 2 tests in a day, 2 practice exams in a day, and that was a lot. But it's just kind of, you just kind of have to do it. You have the responsibility, and it's just discipline. Like if I'm saying I'm gonna get up at this time, I gotta get up. I might whine, cry a little bit, but I just kind of roll over and get it done. And that answer also goes to the question about good grades and productivity. Discipline. Someone asked how to get over imposter syndrome or how to deal with imposter syndrome. Honestly, I think it's something that's always going to follow me. And from speaking with other attorneys, also speaking with 2Ls and 3Ls, it's just something that they also deal with. And I think the best way to just deal with imposter syndrome is to acknowledge it and talk about it. It feels so much better to be able to say, like, I feel like I don't belong here, like I'm freaking out, all of that stuff, instead of pretending like nothing is going on or pretending like nothing is bothering me. That's what's really helped me over the last year. Being a first gen and like having immigrant parents also comes into that imposter syndrome. Like it comes and just punches you right in the face when everything's already punching you in the face. But it's the exact same solution, at least for me, is talking about it. The fact that I've been able to talk to you guys about it, to vocalize how I'm feeling, has helped so much. And it's been able to get people who are 2Ls and 3Ls who reach out to me, and they are talking to me about how they're dealing with the exact same things, and now we have like common ground, and I don't feel as alone. I got a couple of questions regarding, you know, moving to Durham and being away from my family. How do I feel about living alone? So obviously you guys saw when I did my first tour of Durham, I really was not feeling this place. I think I said something about it. Oh my God, it's so dead. I don't think that anymore. I really like Durham. It's very slow. It's definitely not like LA, but it has its own vibe, and I love the nature. It's completely just surrounded with beautiful, beautiful green trees, and the people are amazing and so incredibly nice. Southern hospitality is a thing that I have experienced over the last 3 months that I'm absolutely in love with. And of course, going to like the Duke campus or going to Chapel Hill, which is really the only places that I've been able to go to. Those places are absolutely stunning. The food is good. Like, I have no cons about North Carolina. I really have no cons. In terms of like living alone and being away from my family, con, you're alone. That is the biggest con. Like, you're away from your family. Loneliness definitely like sets in, and I felt that at some point. Like, at some point I was even thinking like it would have been better if I was still with my last partner so that I wouldn't be alone, which is like red flag right there. But I think that con is also the biggest pro about being alone. Like, you cannot escape yourself when you're just like literally by yourself. I'm alone in this apartment 24/7 every single day. I cannot escape the way that I think. I cannot escape like my behaviors. I can't escape any of that. And it really kind of forces you to confront yourself, and confront in like a gentle way. It's been a really rough process, but I think that I've been able to discover myself a lot more, and also a lot faster, because I'm the only person who I'm dealing with. I'm the only person who I'm around. And with COVID and not being able to go on campus, not really being able to meet people, I have to learn how to be like my best friend. The person who comforts, you know, me is me at this point, especially when it's like 2 a.m. and I'm crying about, you know, whatever I'm crying about. It's kind of up to me, and I have learned so much about how to really deal with myself. And that segues into the like plethora of questions I got regarding spirituality. How did I get into spirituality? How to get into spirituality? And honestly, you guys, you just do it. Like, you just do it. Like, I know that if you're on TikTok or you're a spiritual TikTok, there's so much that's being thrown at you all of the time, that you must do this, you have to do this, you don't have to do anything when it comes to spirituality. My spirituality is very much involving like myself and getting back to trusting my intuition. I feel like there's been a long time in my life where I just kind of was looking at other people for how to just live my life, what to do, how to act, how to dress. And I just want to get back to trusting me, because I know what's best for me, and I just have to be able to listen to that voice who's telling me, you know, what's best for me. And that's super hard when you're looking at outside sources. So the first thing that I did just get into spirituality was just to be quiet. That's literally it. I started with meditation. I didn't have crystals or anything like that. You don't need crystals or anything like that. I think some people don't even meditate, and that's okay. If that's their version of spirituality, that's completely okay. But I started with meditation, about 5 minutes every day, and that really helped me to quiet all the other external noises. The more I listened to my intuition, the more it guided me to the next step in my spirituality. A great example of this is my altar. I got some questions about my altar. I wanted to build an altar for a long time because I saw it on TikTok and I was like, oh my God, I have to have an altar. But it just never felt right and I never did it. Like I had, the money. I knew what I needed to do to get all of the products to build an altar. It just never was the right time until one day I was meditating and literally I got a visual of what my altar was supposed to look like, right down to the candles, the placements, like the offerings, all of that. And that's when I built my altar. That's when I felt like I was ready, and my intuition and my spirit guides felt like I was ready to actually build an altar and work with an altar. That's what I mean by kind of just like getting quiet and listening to yourself, because there's a lot of external things that are happening and you don't need all of that. When did I start getting more into spirituality? The first person that really got me interested was Hitomi on here on YouTube. She's amazing. She's such a light, and I really liked her specifically because I was able to watch her videos and obviously she lives like a very different life from me, especially at the time that I found her. But when I was watching her videos, I didn't feel like, God, I want to be her. I want her life or anything like that. I just kind of felt like I would love to be on that level and let me learn like what she's done to get there. Someone asked, what are my big three? I am an Aquarius sun, a Leo moon, and a Pisces rising. Someone asked, what is a random talent of mine? I can do this. That's about it. Questions about how I edit my videos or what I use to edit my videos. I don't edit my own videos anymore. I have an editor. She's awesome. She's great. She's fantastic. She is the moment. And I will have all of her stuff down below in the description box so you guys can check her out. I'll have like a direct link because usually I have her but some people have trouble finding her. So I'll just have a direct link of how to reach her because she's amazing. What is like my style or my aesthetic, like fashion wise? It's whatever the hell I want it to be. That's really what it is. Like I spend way too much time curating stuff and it's just not fun. Like if fashion is supposed to be fun, like the time when I was doing like just like neutrals and all that, like that's not me. Like I just want to do whatever the hell I want to do. This is an avatar. Like this, I am an avatar and I'm trying to dress up my avatar however I want. So if one day I feel like dressing punk, I will. If one day I want to dress like, Y2K, I will. If I want to dress like I am whatever the heck, I will. Like I have no actual like aesthetic. I just do whatever I want, and I highly recommend it. It's very freeing. Someone asked, how do I find or like therapy? Said they want to start but they're nervous. Dude, I love therapy. I love therapy. Therapy is my day one. Like Jesus Christ, I love therapy so much. I think that everyone should at least give it a shot. It's a really great way to just talk about the things that you're dealing with or learn more about yourself and the things that may be plaguing you but you have no idea. I'm a big advocate for therapy. I go often. I go at least I think like once a week I go, and it's a great way to just talk to someone that is kind of neutral. And I went to therapy again this semester when I was dealing with some of the consequences of my last relationship, and it was a really great way to validate a lot of the things that I was feeling regarding this relationship and the things that I went through. It felt really good to have someone just kind of say like, hey, that wasn't okay, the thing that you went through, and to help me like get through like the thinking process. I love therapy. Please don't be scared of therapy. They're not there to judge you at all, and whatever you think that you have that they might judge you about, they've probably heard like 10 times worse things, so don't be scared. Therapy is the best thing that you could possibly do for yourself, and I highly recommend it. Someone asked if I ever regret going to law school. Definitely doing final season, yes. yes. I do sometimes think about, man, why did I do this to myself? Like no one did this to me, I did this to me, but golly. It's very short. It's very like a short moment, and it always goes away. It's mostly because sometimes things get very, very, very busy and you don't have a lot of time for yourself depending on what's going on. But I think in reality, I do not regret this decision. I've also always wanted to go to law school, or at least do law, and I'm happy where I'm at, like really. Someone asked, what is it about Washington and why am I so obsessed with it? Dude, Washington is gorgeous, okay? Like, I was so spiritually in tune when I was in Washington, like especially where we stayed. It was just surrounded by forests. I fed deers every morning. Like, I walked up to deers and fed the deers every morning. Sorry, that's Grace Kelly. I just felt like so spiritually in tune. I could just walk in the backyard. There was a trail there, just beautiful, beautiful forest. The smell was different. I was in Seabeck, by the way, and it's just peaceful. I have a question about how do I handle living alone in times of stress and anxiety. That can be tough because sometimes you want to talk to people. Obviously, I have my phone and I can call like my friends or my family. Honestly, the best thing about that and living alone is that I can just scream here. Okay, I pay rent here. I can scream. I've had like moments where I'm literally like, it's been like midnight and I'm on my yoga mat just bawling my eyes out, and it feels so good. Like, ugh, it feels so good. Like, I could do whatever I want. I'm stressed out. Sometimes I like to dance. I can do it in the nude. Like, I can just cry. I can be real natural, real wild, a wild woman by myself. And that's something that I really like. So stress has not been that big of a thing with living alone, because the ability to just do everything I just said has been so incredibly stress relieving. Like, I don't need to pretend. If I'm in a bad mood, I don't have to like pretend because I have to talk to someone. It's just me. And baby, we're gonna scream into the void if we need to. Like, it's so free. Where's the next place you want to travel to once it's safe? Hawaii. I would love to go to Hawaii. Someone asked if I speak any other language other than English. I do speak French. It's rough though because I don't do it often. How do you stay engaged when completing long reading assignments? Dude, I pretend. I can pretend, bro. Like, I'm gonna put that on my resume, okay? And these law firms better hire me because I know how to pretend. I know how to make something fun. Like, I will put on a fake little English accent, you know, British accent. I might pretend to, you know, have those little white wigs that they used to wear in the old days, you know, when they were like judges and stuff. And I'll read funny if I have to. I'll do whatever I must to get through those opinions, okay? And sometimes they're long as hell, so have fun with it. So I got some questions, and this is the last question I will be answering, and it's in relation to breakups, how to deal with breakups. I will answer this question, but you guys do have to keep in mind that I was in a really toxic relationship, so I don't know how you get over a breakup when it's healthy. I only know how to get over a breakup when it is unhealthy. So take with that what you will, but I do think that, at least in like regards to me, it's true that when like I break up with someone, that the term is like when girls break up with you or when women break up with men, it usually means that they started the breakup process months before. And I think that does apply to me specifically. I think I started breaking up with my partner like months, like it probably, at least this time around, because I broke up with him once and then got back together. This time around probably started, I pinpointed to first semester. We were in Washington, and it was like the first week or so of classes. I'd gone from like having so much free time from the summer to having absolutely no free time with all these readings. I was confused, very much dealing with imposter syndrome, and I was just not getting any type of sympathy at all. My last partner got really upset with me because I was going to bed really late because I was doing readings and I wasn't doing, you know, the extra, you know, bed stuff that they wanted me to be doing. But obviously I was busy and I just was not getting a lot of compassion. Like, he actually, I think, gave me like the silent treatment because of this. And it was never like, hey, like, I know you're really stressed, are you okay? Or like, hey, do you want to go take a walk with me? I know you're super stressed. It was just kind of like, you're not doing this for me, you're not doing this for me. And I think that moment, like, boop, was the first time I was like, I I mean, like subconsciously, I started doing the breakup process, but I wasn't aware that I was doing that. I think that the fact that my relationship was just so incredibly toxic helped me kind of get over it super fast. Like there is not one time that I've thought like, wow, I would really like to be in that relationship again. I've actually tried to force myself to think that, and my brain is just like, remember this time, remember that time, remember this, remember this, remember that, remember that, remember that. Yeah. Go ahead and say that. If you've broken up with someone or someone's broken up with you, there's probably a good reason for it, and you should think about it. At least that's what I did. It's just to really think about what was going on, and that helps a lot to realize that there is better things out there. Whatever it is that you're dealing with, if it's toxic, there is someone, probably multiple people, who you will not have to go through that situation. You will not have to literally convince someone to care about you, or negotiate with someone to give you the basic things that you need from your partner. I promise you. Someone asked about my veganism and just like the transition. I have been vegan for about a year. I did find the transition to be pretty easy. I did it just because I wanted to just do it. I felt like dairy wasn't good for me, wasn't good for my skin, so I just decided to just stop like eating, drinking dairy, all of that, and then that just transitioned to meat. I think I just lost interest in meat in general, but by the time you guys watch this, I would probably not be vegan anymore, because listen, this entire finals I've been thinking about grilled fish. There's this way that in Cameroon they make grilled fish. They do it on the side of the road, okay? They be putting their foot, their entire body into making this fish, and my aunt knows how to tear it up. So I will be having fish when I get home. I 100% will. I don't think that I won't. So by the time you watch this, I won't be vegan anymore. I was like, oh my god, I have to explain why I'm having fish. You don't have to explain literally anything that you do. But I do think that being vegan, I think it's super fun. It makes you experience with different types of food. You do have to cook a lot, so if that's an issue, you might want to consider that. But I love it. I think that the substitutes for like the meat and even dairy, I don't even know why milk is even, like real milk is even a thing anymore. Like, have you tried oat milk, especially Oatly? Period. And without you guys, I have to actually go. I'm literally need to start packing Grace Kelly into her stuff, and I need to get the fuck out of here. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this helped. If you have any more questions for me, feel free to shoot them on Instagram or on YouTube or in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. I'm happy to be filming again. I'm happy that you stopped on this video. Thank you so much for blessing me with your precious time and your presence, and I will see you in the next one.